Okay, folks, the hour being 7 o'clock, I call the meeting of the Laconia City Council in the Almond Baldock Chambers to order. It's July 14th, 2025. It is 7:49. 7 o'clock, 49 seconds.
Wow, specifics.
Specific. Councilor Susie, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilor. We are joined by Recording Secretary Katie Gargano. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll?
Counselor Cheney?
Here.
Counselor Susie?
Here.
Counselor Hoffman?
Present.
Counselor Haynes?
Here.
Counselor Bogert?
Here.
Counselor Belch?
Here. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you show that there is a quorum?
Yes, all 6 counselors are here and we have a quorum.
Thank you. We are joined by City Manager Kurt Beatty and Glenn Smith, our Finance Director. Before we start, I have 2 things that I'd like to mention. Just for your knowledge, I'm Mark Haynes. I'm the elected Mayor Pro Tem, and I am the councilor from Ward 4. City Manager is requesting the council enter a non-public meeting under RSA 9-8:3, Section L, consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel. There will be no business conducted after that non-public. Second thing, I have a council proclamation. Would the people from the Lakes Region Community Service join me at the microphone?
Thank you. Thank you.
Whereas for half a century, the Lakes Region Community Service has been dedicated to strengthening and enhancing the lives of the individuals and families of our community and across the Lakes region. And whereas through the years, the LRCS has provided a wide range of services, including acting designated area agency for Region 3, providing acquired brain disorders and providing early support and services. LRCS.
This makes sense.
Civil Operations Family Resource Center of quality and programs such as parenting journey, civil parenting journey, which is parent education, welcome baby, step ahead, and kinship, and home assistance, allowing adults in our community to age in place in their homes. Whereas the tireless efforts of the Lake Region Community Service staff, board members, volunteers, and community partners have positively impacted thousands of lives, fostering a stronger, more compassionate community. And whereas this is the 50th anniversary of the Lakes Region Community Services, provides an opportunity to reflect accomplishments, celebrate the impact, and look forward to the continued service and progress of generations to come. Now, wherefore, I, Andrew J. Hosmer, Mayor of the City of Laconia, do hereby proclaim 2025 as the 50th anniversary year of Lakes Region Community Services and encourage all residents to recognize their efforts and support and celebrate the vital missions and contributions made to this outstanding organization. Signed, Andrew J. Hosmer, Mayor.
Thank you.
And another member of our board.
I do what I can.
He said, he told us that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Told me I could have gotten a couple.
Oh, that's okay. I took theirs. I look better on that side of the camera.
Okay. Item 7, acceptance of previous council meeting. City Council regular meeting minutes of June 23rd, 2025. Minutes of the city council meeting of June 23rd, 2025 were distributed to members of Laconia City Council on June 24th, 2025. With no corrections or changes submitted to the clerk, the minutes will be accepted as distributed. Okay. Item 8. Temporary traffic order 2025-12, Runaway Pumpkin 2025. The 2025 Runaway Pumpkin 5K Run, 5K, 10K Run Walk, and Kids Fun Run will take place on Saturday, October 25th, 2025. This event is done in conjunction with the Laconia Pumpkin Festival, and the proceeds from the event will benefit the Wow Trail. This is a recurring event, and there are no changes from last year's other than the date. If you look on the back of the, there is the temporary traffic order in case someone wants to look at it. Oh, I'm sorry. I need a motion to accept. So moved by Councilor Susi. Councilor Bogart, seconds. Is there any discussion?
Yes. No, I've already
Councilor
signed.
Felch.
I've already signed up. I'm hoping the rest of the councilors and manager will join me. If you can't walk or run it, we'll put you to work at one of the checkpoints, but hope to see you there.
I thought you were gonna push me.
No. I'll be lucky to be able to walk it, but I'll be there.
Okay. Is there any other comments, discussion? All those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. Madam Clerk? Okay. Item 9 is citizens' comments for matters not on the agenda. This is the time set aside for any citizens' comments for anything that's not on the agenda. Patrick Wood.
Mr. Mayor, Patrick Wood, Ward 1. 2 quick things. One, the event on the 4th of July at Opeechee was wonderful. The fireworks were fantastic, and there was a huge crowd. It was really a very impressive event. So thank you to the city for doing this. It was a wonderful event for the community. The second thing is, a few weeks ago, I was here talking about the Congregate Housing Services Program and the funding that had been cut from the state budget. This benefits the 27 residents of the Laconia Housing Authority. So we worked with the state Senate. The budget had already been reviewed by the House, and by the time we got to the Belknap County delegation, it was too late for them to make any changes in the House version of the budget. But the Senate agreed to put $700,000 back into the budget for this amount. Now the $700,000, there are 2 housing authorities in New Hampshire that have the Congregate Housing Services Program, Manchester and Laconia. Manchester has 7 residents that it serves. We have 27. We have to apply for the money, so it's not a guarantee that we're going to get the funding, but we're going to do our best to get it, and we may come back to the city and at some point and ask for a supporting letter somewhat along those lines when we make that application. But there's hope now. There's $700,000 for the biennium, $350,000 each year, and hopefully Laconia Housing Authority will be able to continue with this program that helps so many people stay in their homes. So I wanted to thank you for your comments and support on it before.
Councilor Susi.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pat, how much money was necessary for Laconia's to keep your program going?
$700,000 would keep it for the 2 years, and that's what we're looking at. That's what we asked for, $750,000 at the state Senate, but they approved $700,000, which would cover us for the 2 years It's about $30,000 a month that we're spending on this. So,
Okay, but you're gonna be in a battle with Manchester for the same dollar, right?
potentially, but Manchester never appeared at any of the hearings or requested it. We were the ones that were pushing for it. So we're hopeful that that will mean something. But we have not, I mean, we don't want to be in a contest with
Right,
Manchester if we
right.
don't have to be. But if we get support from the city council on that application or something like that, I'm sure that would be helpful. But I'll defer to Kathy Bowler, our executive director, on just how best to do that. But it's important that we as a community work together on this, and that's why I've been here and talking to you about it, because it benefits all of us if we can do this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor Cheney?
That was my question.
Okay.
Okay.
Counselors, anything else?
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Anyone else? Okay, seems no one. All right, item 13A. We have a number of public hearings, counselors, so I would just like to go over the rules for public hearing. Anyone's can address the council. At a public hearing, we just ask that you give your name and your address and speak to the matter at hand, and we'll proceed. 13A is a public hearing proposed for Community Action Program, kitchen expansion and improvements for a CDBG project, Laconia Senior Center. The notice of the public hearing was made available on July 2nd, 2025. Edition of the Daily Sun and the New Hampshire Union Leader, and posted at the City Hall, the Laconia Community Center, Laconia Public Library, and offices of the SAU. I'd like to open the public hearing at 7:12. Donna, is there something you would like to address?
Well, lucky you, I'm here to read to you. Sorry,
Okay.
you know how this goes, but they're very picky. First of all, there are informational packets back there on the table. And I'm just going to read to you, and I apologize, but we're going to do 7 public hearings for CDBG tonight. We have to do these at some point. So actually, it's a good thing because Laconia has been very fortunate to get a lot of CDBGs. So it's a good thing we meet like this, right, Glenn? I keep Glenn hopping. So I'm going to read to you. Community Development Block Grant funds are available to municipalities through the New Hampshire Community Development Finance Authority. Up to $500,000 annually is available for economic development projects, up to $500,000 for housing projects, up to $500,000 for public facility projects, up to $500,000 in emergency funds, up to $25,000 per planning study grant. All projects must directly benefit a majority of low and moderate income persons. This is a proposed application to the Community Development Finance Authority for up to $500,000 in CDBG public facility funds. Of the grant funds, up to $35,000 will be retained by the city for administrative compliance costs associated with the project. Up to $465,000 of the funds will be subgranted to the Community Action Belknap Merrimack. CAP proposes to make improvements to the Laconia Senior Center, 184 Beacon West Street, Laconia, including a commercial kitchen that will allow for on-site preparation of meals for daily on-site congregate meals, and to allow for a significant expansion of the Meals on Wheels program, as it will allow for preparation and distribution locally rather than transporting from Concord. The project conforms with Laconia's Housing and Community Development Plan's goal of promote activities that protect the health and safety of residents and visitors, which is a short-term and a long-term goal. Does the council have any questions on this proposed application project?
Counselor Susie?
Just one question. CDBG, definition, please?
Community Development Block Grant.
Okay, thank
So
you.
those are HUD funds,
Right,
and they have to primarily benefit, at least 51% is primarily, benefit projects that are low and moderate income. So at least 51% benefit.
I think what you're doing for especially for the kitchen, for the senior center, is awesome. I've been there a couple of times, and I mean, and if you're gonna do the Meals on Wheels with locally manufactured, locally processed stuff, that's great. I just think it's I know we had put some money in, I think at some point, towards that kitchen. And, you know, if this is gonna help you get to where you need to go,
And they want to increase the twice a week meals to 5 days a week, which is
it's even better.
amazing.
Thank you.
Any other councilors? Anyone else in the audience would like to make a comment or ask a question? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna close that, this public hearing at 7:15. Okay, 13B. Residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan for the Community Action Program Kitchen Expansion and Improvement of CBDG project. This is gonna sound repetitive, but we have to read it. Notice with the public hearing was made available on July 2nd, 2025, edition of the Daily Sun, the Manchester Union Leader, posted at City Hall, Laconia Community Center, Laconia Public Library, and the offices of SAU. I'm gonna open this public hearing at 7:16. Donna?
So that kind of sounds funny, the anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan, but it's project-specific, and every time we apply for CDBG funds, we have to adopt this plan, whether it's relevant to our project or not relevant to our project, and we're not displacing anybody. But this plan outlines measures under the Uniform Relocation Act required for CDBG projects that involve any displacement or relocation of persons or businesses. If the city were to undertake a CDBG project which involved displacement or relocation, they would follow this plan. The plan outlines measures they would take to find comparable suitable housing for persons or businesses displaced or relocated. This project does not anticipate any displacement or relocation. Does the council have any questions or comments on the anti-displacement relocation assistance
Councilor
plan?
Bogan.
Thank you. If you're gonna rebuild the kitchen, wouldn't that be a displacement of the cooking facility while it's being rebuilt?
They're not preparing food there.
Oh,
They'll figure it out. The anti-displacement relocation is more for people who, like a tenant that doesn't have any say in the matter, than it is, CAP will figure out how they're gonna maneuver around everything. But the food's brought in from Concord right now. The whole plan is to stop doing that.
okay. Thank you.
Any other councilors? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment or ask a question?
Want me to comment?
Sure, if you wanna.
Good evening. My name is Karen Pryor, and I'm serving as a consultant for CAP Belknap Merrimack. And to your point, the current kitchen as it exists now is really just a gathering place for bringing the food in, keeping it cold or warm, for the Meals on Wheels deliveries and for the congregate serving twice a week. So right now, there really is no displacement at all. So I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you so much very much.
Thank you, Karen. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'm going to close this public hearing at 7:18. All right. 13C, public hearing presentation of Community Action Program Kitchen Expansion Improvement Planning Study CDBG Project, Laconia Senior Center. Again, the public hearing, the Daily Sun, the Union Leader, City Hall, Laconia Community Center, Laconia Public Library, the SAU. This was all posted for this. Karen, I'm going to open this at 7:19.
So we got a CDBG a little while ago to do a planning study to see how the preliminary design would be, how much this is going to cost. Okay, so we have to present that information. So CDBG funded a planning study grant so that Community Action could hire an architect to determine the pre-development costs of the proposed senior center improvements project, including pre-construction planning, preliminary architectural design, and cost estimates. The expected cost of the kitchen expansion improvements is approximately $1.3 million. And now we have plans and estimates that helps us get the grant that we're applying for as well.
Okay, thank you.
Council have any questions or comments on
Council?
that?
Councilor Susie?
How many people do you serve a day, approximately, on Meals on Wheels? Just rough number.
We're calculating.
That's all right.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm Suzanne Demers, and I was the director a year ago. And Sandy is here in the audience, and she would have the figures as of right now. So Meals on Wheels, we serve 2 times a week for the congregate right now. And those numbers can be anywhere from 25 to, if it's a holiday or something bigger, an event, they can go up to 75, 80 for the congregate.
And with this new expansion, you're gonna be able to go to 5 days a week.
Correct. That is the reason for the commercial kitchen, is that it needs to go 5 days a week so that we can feed people 5 days a week.
I think it's awesome. I got one more question. The grant you're asking, I know it was some $1.3 million, okay? Is the grant gonna give you enough money?
It is.
Okay.
It is, yes. Because Karen did a very extensive research on it, and we looked at everything that we would need to expand it down the road. So it's for now, and it's looking at the future.
Looking ahead too.
Correct. We're looking at the baby boomers.
What's that?
We're looking at the baby boomers. Any other questions?
Trying to figure out where he's gonna.
It's not for me to say.
Thank you. Councilors, any other questions? Is there anyone in the audience that would either like to ask a question or make a comment? Okay. Seeing no one, I'm gonna close this at 7:21. All right. Item 13D. Public hearing updated housing and community development plan. Again, this was noticed, public hearing, the notice of the public hearing was made, Daily Sun, New Hampshire Union Leader, Laconia City Hall, Community Center, Public Library, and the offices of SAU. I'm gonna open this public hearing at 7:22. Donna?
A housing and community development plan is required to be eligible to apply for CDBG funds. The proposed housing and community development plan identifies needs which currently exist or are anticipated during the next 3 years. The plan provides a basis for guiding the city's housing and community development objectives and actions. In addition, the proposed plan includes a CDBG citizen participation plan that details the CDB requirements for public hearings. The housing and community development plan can't be more than 3 years old. The Laconia's plan was last adopted in November 2021. No changes have been made to the plan, so we're readopting the existing plan. We've had the same pretty much goals all along. Goal, encourage a varied stock of safe, sanitary, decent, affordable housing for persons of all age and income groups. Encourage economic development activities to increase quality industrial and commercial development. Encourage expansion and retention of employment opportunities for residents. Encourage municipal and private water and wastewater systems that are safe, sanitary, and meet DES regulations. Preserve and promote the city's historically and culturally significant structures. Promote activities that protect the health and safety of residents and visitors. So they're just nice goals for any community. And those are the ones you had before, and those are the ones that are proposed in this current housing and community development plan. Any questions from the council?
Okay. Anyone in the audience? Question or comment? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to close this at 7:23. All right. Item 13E, public hearing, progress of the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire Lakes Region Early Learning Center playground improvements. Again, the public notice was made at Laconia Daily Sun, the Union Leader, City Hall, Community Center, Laconia Public Library, and the offices of SAU. I'm going to open this public hearing at 7:24. Donna.
CDBG has awarded funding for improvements to the playground at the Lakes Region Early Learning Center at 22 Stratford Street. The existing natural play area will be replaced with a new sand play area, a music play area, sensory garden, and separate toddler play area. The playground will consist of a mix of natural features and handmade structures. Construction is expected from August to October of this year. So it's going to be a huge improvement over what is there right now.
Okay. Any questions? Councilor Susan?
Just FYI, I walked that area in fact, last weekend, okay? Not knowing that this was coming, but I was down there and I wanted to see that because I remember hearing something, I think from you or somewhere that was happening.
Councilor, would you?
Okay, that was happening, but I didn't see anything.
Yep.
So I'm very glad that you're here this evening because I looked at that and I said, wait a minute, I thought there was something else going on and it didn't happen. I think it's
The
great.
bid was a little while ago. We've just been waiting for the awarded contractor to put it in his schedule, so it's
How much-
coming real soon.
How much was the grant?
It was almost 500,000. It was like 460 or something.
And that'll include a fence around it, the whole bit like
Yeah,
the-
it's gonna make it secure and make it,
Very good, thank
right
you.
now it's pretty barren.
It's kind of barren and, yeah, it needs a lot.
Doesn't look like a lot of fun right now. Hopefully
Thank
it'll
you.
look a lot more fun soon.
Thank
Keep an eye on it.
Okay.
You'll be the supervisor on site.
Counselors, any questions? Does anyone in the audience would like to make a comment or a question? Seeing none, I'm gonna close this at 7:26. (13F). Progress on the Partnership for Public Health Improvement Project. Again, this was public notice. The notice of the public hearing was made Daily Sun, the New Hampshire Union Leader. It was posted at City Hall, the Community Center, Laconia Public Library, and the offices of SAU. I'm going to open this public hearing at 7:26. Donna.
CDBG awarded funding for improvements at the Partnership for Public Health's property at 11 Academy Square. Improvements to include ADA accessibility requirements, energy, safety, security, and privacy items. The bid opening for the subtrade work was held in June. Construction is expected from July to, well, hopefully 4 months, but I say till June next year, but our hope is for 4 months. But it's gonna start real soon.
Any questions? Any comments, questions from the audience? Seeing none, I'm going to close this at 7:27. All right.
Almost.
13G.
Almost.
Lake Street and Community Developers Millview Apartments Improvement Project. Again, the notice for the public hearing was made at the Daily Sun, the Manchester Union Leader, City Hall, Community Center, Laconia Public Library, and the offices of SAU. I'm going to open this public hearing at 7:27. Donna.
CDBG awarded funding for improvements to Lakes Region Community Developers Millview Apartments located at 115 to 171 Union Ave, 20 and 28 Locust Street, and 5 Jameson Street. Improvements include new roofing, siding, and possible boilers. Roofing is complete and siding is 80% done. Then they've done some doors, new doors have been done. Construction's expected to be complete, I always say a year from now, but it's gonna be real soon because it's almost done. Any questions or comments on that? If you drive by, you see it looks spiffy.
Anyone in the audience? Okay. Seeing no one? I'm gonna
Mr.
close-
Mayor, if I could just make a quick comment.
Sure.
So you'll notice later on in the agenda, for all but one of them, we do have an agenda item for discussion on these. You've already done you certainly will do that at that time, but you've kind of done it now. So if you have any other further questions for them, I think it's up to you, but I think now would be a good time if you did have any questions. Certainly you'll open the agenda item later for your discussion, but just in case you were looking for them to specifically talk now.
I apologize. I should have made it known that all these items were going to be taken up under unfinished business. So, anyways, anyone in the audience? Okay, I'm going to close this at 7:29.
So I'm thanking you for putting up with me tonight. That was a lot of items, but if you realize how many we've gone through, that's how much money's come in very recently from CDBG. So we've been really fortunate to have all these projects funded. Glenn may not think so. I know you do. I just harass him on the daily. But it's been a lot of money that's come into the community, and that's why we're doing all this tonight. So, because we're already coming for the CAP kitchen. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 13H. This is Resolution 2025-25 relative to the proposed amendments to the Laconia City Charter to amend Article 2, Election and Election of Officers, Section 2:02, 2:03, 2:06, and 3:05. Again, the notice of the public hearing was made
known at the Laconia Daily Sun, posted in the Daily Sun, posted at Laconia City Hall, Laconia Community Center, Laconia Public Library, and the offices of SAU. I'm going to open this public hearing at 7:30. Anyone who would like to make a comment or ask a question? Okay, seeing none. I'm going to close this at 7:31. Okay. Okay, there's no presentations. Item 15, the mayor's report. The only comment I'd like to make, and I'm not the mayor, I'm Mayor Pro Tem. I know the 4th of July and Pat spoke to it, but, you know, I'm convinced that everyone likes to have the fireworks at O-Pee-Chee Park. Everyone likes a parade. But sometimes we forget that it takes people to do that. You know, we had city employees, EMS, Public Works, the police department, and especially I'd like to give a shout out to Councilor Felch, who for years has organized that parade and did a fantastic job. So thank you, Councilor Felch.
Good job.
Okay, item 16, council comments. Councilor Cheney.
I have one or two quick items. I'd spoken to the manager some time ago about Clearwater Place and the cleanup of a diesel spill there. I was by recently, and some of the residents showed me that the marks are still on the road, and that some of the rocks lower down show signs of being affected by diesel fuel. So I would ask the manager to just check that and see if we've done everything we can do to deal with that problem. It's my understanding, I had it marked down here, but it's my understanding that the resident only parking signs can go up on Simpson Ave.
Yes.
Ave, and I look forward to discussing that. And I guess I'll hold off on the amendments until later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilor Phelps.
Yes, again, I was got lunch this morning, as I am every week, and we're at the point where we're serving well over 500 children now. So it's a great need. I welcome anybody, counselors, any of the audience, to stop by on a Sunday at 10 o'clock or Monday at 8 o'clock and see what we do. It's very invigorating. And also I've been attending the concerts on Canal Street. The first one was a little sparse, but the second one was the day after the 4th of July, and it was a great crowd, great music, and a good time. I recommend stopping by. I want to thank Dan from New Hampshire Vintage Vinyl and everybody else that has anything to do with it. It's a great program.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Then we're going to move on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Okay. Liaison reports.
I'd like to speak to the council about the Pumpkin Festival scheduled for October 25th.
Sure.
We've been meeting very regularly, as the city manager put that original committee all together. A lot of things going on. We have a significant amount of crafters coming in, but now we're getting really inundated with a lot of people coming in with food trucks and vendors and stuff like that. A lot of stuff for children. We're going to have, and I hope I get this right, the Little Mermaid show out of New York for the afternoon of Pumpkin Fest for the kids, and then we're gonna have a big large stage set up for a very well-known band later on in the evening for the adults. We have fireworks off the top of the parking garage. It's gonna be, you know, a lot of things going on. I mean, we're targeting all for kids, but it'll also be a lot of stuff for the adults. So,
Great.
thank you very much. You'll hear more as we keep going on.
Great, thank you. Any other committee reports? Okay, liaison reports. I would like to make the council aware that there is going to be a public hearing on August. I believe it's the 13th, and I will let you know the next meeting. But it's significance that there is a house on 136 Old Prescott Road that has been deemed of significance. The house was built in 1784. The attached barn is considered by the New Hampshire Alliance, Preservation Alliance, to be of significance because it has an Old English style structure. So it has been deemed significance, and there was a demolition permit submitted for that, and it has been delayed because of the fact that the house and the barn are historic significance. The other thing that's going to come before the Heritage Commission is there's been a demolition request for 406 Union Avenue, which is the Harris Furniture house. That is under consideration now, so that could be forthcoming also. So our Heritage Commission, I just want to go back to Old Prescott Road. I think I said that the house was built in 1784. There is significant members of our community who have inhabited that house. One was the Gale family, who the Gale Library is named after. So that was one of the points of historic significance. So I will let you know when the exact date is, and it'll be a public hearing at the Heritage Commission meeting. So that'll be in August. Is there any other liaison reports? Okay. Item 19 is citizens' request to comment on current agenda items. This is a time for anyone who who would like to approach and speak through the microphone to anything that is on the current agenda.
No.
Okay. Seeing no one. We now have the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The document that you have included this month, this meeting, is your financial and operational trends. Move through a couple of items on here that I'd like to speak about. First one, we'll take a look at the new construction. You'll see later in the document the number of building permits are up. If you'll note, this year our current, because we go off the assessing year, the April 1st through June 30th, you'll see the current year building permits are almost double what they were last year at this time. Remember, these are all gross numbers. We do a net number at the end, which is one of the factors of the tax cap calculation. You'll see the gross numbers. We'll adjust those as the year goes on to get a final net number at the end, but that number is obviously significantly higher than we've seen. The fire rescue data, if you'll note, about 2/3 of the way down on their report, the dates of more than 20 incidents. They had quite a few dates of over that number. Most of those equated to Motorcycle Week. Chief Joubert gave me a pretty good rundown of what they had for incidents over the course of Motorcycle Week. They were very busy, as you can see there, including a number of critical patients that they were transporting. So they were very busy over that week, and the numbers reflect there. New metric that we're monitoring here is the MIH, so the Mobile Integrated Healthcare Community Paramedic data. This is the program that was in partnership with Lake Street in Partnership Public Health, the community paramedic that's in the field, already making a number of contacts, and really working with the patients in the field. The program seems to be working exactly as they are hoping it's going to, and they're only expecting us to grow probably exponentially as they see this working.
A question, Mr. Mayor?
Sure.
On the MIH program, which we all think is awesome, okay, what are the hours? Is it just daylight?
No. So she works daily, but she does come in off duty at nighttime, over weekends. So she's available. If she's available, she is available to come in and do this off hours to fit whatever fits the patient. Sometimes the patient needs to be fit at a certain time, or if the ambulance goes out to an incident and there might be a weekend and they say, oh, this is the perfect patient for our community paramedic. If she's available, she'll come out and address it then. So yes, it's a weekday program, but they're trying to make it available as often as possible.
Okay, so continue on the question. I know the program is funded for 2 years, right?
3.
3 years,
Yep.
okay. I'm just looking ahead, and I think it's so great that, how do we make it I know we're a year or two away, a full.
Yeah, we're almost 3 years away. It just started, but the hope is to make this really, really successful the next 18 months, 2 years, and to make it a service that's really demanded, and that'll benefit when we're trying to go make this just continue on.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Cheney?
I'd only like to comment that not noted or mentioned was reduced transports, 5. And I think that's significant because it means we didn't send an ambulance in a truck, which means we don't wear out our equipment as quickly, and that number will grow as sure as I'm sitting here. And the transports requested by the paramedic, meaning one that someone might not have called for a transport, in fact, was transported. I'm so thrilled with this program, I can't see straight. And I love these numbers.
The decreased transport also decreases the burden on the hospital.
Yep.
And it also decreases the burden if the patient happened to be uninsured or improperly insured. It saves money on them as well. So, yeah. And it gives them good treatment. General assistance. We'll just look at the sort of the bottom of the page there. The net assistance cost. We spent over $200,000 last year on our city relief. Which is the money we pay out to for welfare assistance. What's not reflected in there is we did also put some ARPA money into it to help offset some of that cost. And in next year's budget, we did increase. We're not quite at the 218. I think we budgeted for 175 next year. So we did significantly increase that line for next year, understanding that it's something that not only do we have to do, but we don't know what the future holds and how much this is going to change in either direction over the next year, 2, 3 years. So, next page, Laconia Police Department. I think Council Cheney may have mentioned this last month, but the numbers are reflected there on the calls for service. If you look at the top 3 lines under the word call for service, the park walk and talk, extra patrol, and community policing. If you correspond that with last year, the numbers are almost doubled. It's just shy of double from what they were doing last year. And that's, the police department has created essentially a new, it's not a new program, but a new way of assigning their officers where they're doing much more community policing in the downtown area mostly, but it does go out to the Wild Trail area and really tries to coordinate, being more visible and being out there. And so hopefully it's being seen, but you see the numbers there, and it's definitely showing what they're trying to do. Property tax collection, we'll have a better updated number for you on at next month's meeting, but it's a little lower than what you'd normally see, but we're fine there. Skipping over to the next page, our motor vehicle registration was above what we estimated. Parks and recreation facility use was higher than it was last year. seeing a lot of usage requests for Robbie Mills Field. So, I mean, obviously it's a beautiful gem in town, and we're seeing a lot of requests for that. Impact fees, a couple things I'll just mention on impact fees. One, you see the numbers are high. There are some things encumbered in there, though, that you should look at. And we're anticipating, as I always say, we're using that. Some of the stuff that was requested this year in capital for the FY26 budget, we have identified that this is where some of that funding is going to come from. The other thing I'll mention is I did say that we had a third-party company reviewing our impact fees. They've been working for quite a while on it now. We're still probably 2 months away from it coming back to planning and you for final approval. But it's and that as part of that final approval will be a presentation by that third-party company, and you'll see how we stack up against other communities of similar size and where we should be. And so though I think there'll be a lot of discussion on that as we move forward. Reserve fund balances, a couple of the notes on there. The health insurance stabilization account, we are anticipating in the FY26 budget using $100,000 of that to help us offset the unexpected increase in our health insurance account for next year. And the winter maintenance reserve account, you've already approved us being able to take $70,000 out of that. We're finalizing the numbers to confirm that we need to, but that has also been approved by both you and the trustees to do that. Our codes office statistics are there. You'll see, look at June 25 compared to June 24, significant increase in the building permits, the inspections. So it obviously means we have a larger volume of work going on. And our property maintenance actions are increased. One of the things that we didn't put in here, I'm just making sure it wasn't added in last minute. No. One of the things that I've been talking to Code about is, we talk about property maintenance actions and how many actually do something about what we send out. The number that's increased a little bit. The last time he gave me the number a couple weeks ago was 13 that he had sent out, and 11 of them had fixed the problems that they were requested to fix. That's a really good percentage. And so we're going to add another section to this in the future that's going to show, it says we sent out 19. How many of them were completed and in what time frame? So we are seeing an increase in the percentage of quick fixes, because some of them are. Some of them are just something simple that an owner may not have known about, and they're trying to get it taken care of. So certainly appreciate the work they're doing in code. Boat taxes came in a little under what we were anticipating, but not too bad. Our general fund and revenue expenditures are fine. And since our last time that we had Chief Joubert do a presentation on the EMS billing, we haven't seen any real changes. It's still moving along well. We do know that that over the last couple of years, there was some increase in billing that has been making a difference and has been working for us. The question continuously comes up is what happens to Medicaid and how it affects us. We're not anticipating a huge hit from this as far as our ambulance system goes. What it does in welfare, we're not sure about, but I had them run some numbers, and if there was a significant, Medicaid is a small part of what we do, so we shouldn't see a lot of huge changes in that. And that's all I have for you, sir.
Okay. Councilors, is there any questions for the city manager? Councilor Bogart.
Under the school reserves, do those reflect as current as they are? Because I thought under like school construction and stuff, we extracted out.
Yeah, no, it doesn't show encumbered, so those won't change until it's actually spent and moved, and so no, those are updated before that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're gonna move on. Under new business, 21A. March 10th, 2025. City Council meeting, Councilor Hoffman was appointed the alternate position on the Zoning Board of Adjustment to a 3-year term expiring at the end of August 2028. The appointment was made in the same capacity as a non-councilor, not as a dedicated city councilor member position. At the time Councilor Hoffman's appointment, there were only alternate positions available. However, there are currently 2 vacant regular member positions. The motion is I move to appoint City Councilor Eric Hoffman to a regular member position on the Zoning Board of Adjustment to a 3-year term expiring at the end of 2028.
That went fast.
Councilor Cheney?
I make the motion.
The fastest I've seen you
Councilor
move in a
Susie
while.
seconds it.
For one of us
Susie
gets.
seconds. Is there any other discussion? Nope, seeing none. All those in favor? Thank you,
you.
Councilor Hoffman.
No problem. We'll get you a vest.
Okay, we're under unfinished business, and this is where we're gonna take up the public hearings on the community action. 22A is the proposed community action program kitchen expansion and improvements to CBDG project, Laconia Senior Center. Community development block funds are available for municipalities through the New Hampshire Community Development Finance Authority. Up to $5,000 annually is available for economic development projects, up to $500,000 for housing projects, up to $500,000 for public facilities project, up to $500,000, in emergency funds, and up to $25,000 for planning study grants. All projects must directly benefit major low and moderate income persons. This is a proposed application for Community Development Finance Authority for up to $500,000 in CBDBG public facilities funds or grant funds, up to $35,000 to be retained by the city for administrative and labor compliance costs associated with the project. Up to $465,000 of the funds will be subgranted to the Community Action Program, Belknap County, CAPBM, CAPBM proposes to make improvements to Laconia Senior Center on 184 Beacon Street, West Laconia, including a commercial kitchen, would allow for on-site preparation of meals for daily on-site congregate meals, and to allow for significant expansion of Meals on Wheels program. It will allow for preparation and distribution locally rather than transporting from Concord. This project conforms with Laconia Housing Community Development Plans for goals of promote activities to protect the health and safety of the residents and visitors. At the June 23rd, 2025 City Council meeting, a motion was approved to schedule a public hearing. The public hearing was made this evening. The proposed motion is I move to approve the submittal of the Community Action Program expansion, kitchen expansion, and improvements to the CDBG project, CDBG application, and vote to authorize the city manager to sign and submit the CDBG application, and upon approval of the CDBG application, authorize the city manager to execute any documents which may be necessary to effectuate the CDBG contract and any amendments thereto. That's a mouthful.
Well done.
Not necessarily.
Motion made.
Councilor Felch, Councilor Bogart seconded. Is there any discussion? I am now going to continue to read CDBG.
Mark,
Councilor Felch.
can I suggest for the rest of them, we just read by title only and not the whole discussion portion that we've already discussed?
It's up to the council.
I'll second that.
Yes.
agreed.
Okay.
I'm in favor.
All right, wait.
Let's go with the vote.
There was an amendment to,
Well, it's not really an amendment, but suggestion.
There's only one or two more that actually have a motion, so it shouldn't be too bad to. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, back to the discussion. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor? Raise your hands. 6 votes in the affirmative. Item 22B. Adoption of the city's residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan for the Community Action Program kitchen expansion and improvements for CDBG project at Laconia Senior Center. The plan outlines measures under the Uniform Relocation Act acquired by the CDBG project's involvement of displacement or relocation. The motion is I move to adopt the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan for proposed improvements at the Laconia Senior Center as presented. Counselor Susie, Counselor Hoffman, seconds. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. Thank you. Okay, 22C. Presentation of the Community Action Program Kitchen Expansion Improvement Planning Study, CDBG Project, Laconia Senior Center.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, the ones that have no motions, just give you guys an opportunity to have discussion. You kind of had the discussion
Okay.
with Donna while she was here. It's certainly up to you guys to have further, but that's all these are in here for.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion?
There's no vote.
Okay, so there's no, all right, 22D.
Make a motion that we can go by title only.
Okay, you're not gonna hurt my second.
Yep.
Okay, updated housing and community development plan. I think it's before you, the goals and the whole works. There was a motion in the June 23rd, 2025 City Council meeting, a motion, and was approved, and the public hearing was held earlier this evening. The motion is, I move to adopt and update the housing and community development plan as presented. Councilor Felch. Second by Councilor Bogart. All those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. That passes. 22E. Progress for the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire Lakes Region Early Learning Center Playground Improvement Project. I think we heard the explanation for that, and there is no motion on that. In case there's a discussion or any questions?
Nope, good to go.
Okay. 22F, progress and partnership for public health improvement of project at 11 Academy Square. We heard that explanation earlier this evening, and there's no motion on that unless there's any discussion. Okay?
Mr. Mayor, we'll just make a comment. If you're ever in that area and they're available, if you haven't had a chance to tour that, that was a residential building, had apartments in there that they turned into Partnership Public Health. If you remember, they were over on Water Street at one point, including during all the COVID time. They were our lead partner during all the COVID stuff. They did an amazing job with the building over there on Academy Square. And if you're ever if you haven't seen it and you're in the area, take a peek at it because they did a really nice job.
Drive by every day.
Yes, you do.
Thank you. 22G. Progress in the Lakes Region Community Developers Millview Apartment Improvement Project. Is there any discussion on that?
Nope.
Seeing none? Okay. 22H. Resolution relative to 2025-25 relative to the proposed amendment sections 2000:2, 2000:3,
206 and 3:05. Laconia City Charter to be included in the on the ballot for November 2025 municipal election. Katie, is that something that you would like to just give us an overview or?
Sure.
Sure.
So the amendment to section 2.02 is to change the supervisor of the checklist meeting times. Currently, it states that they must meet for like 4 hours out of the day. And the New Hampshire state law is only 30 minutes is the minimum they need to meet. So I'm looking to match what the state law says, so that way if the state law changes in the future, there's no charter change needed in the future. We can just have our sessions as needed as the law states. The second one, 2.03, then states that they must meet for another 4 hours in the afternoon. So I'm asking to have that removed because it's not, it's redundant to section number 2. Section 206 is removing the requirement to hold a municipal primary. So I had done some research to see which cities in the state have a primary. It's currently just Laconia and Manchester and the city of Keene. Everybody else does not hold a primary. It's not required that we hold a primary, so it's costly to hold one, and if we don't need to, then I just figured maybe we could get rid of it. If the voters decide no, that they don't want to get rid of it, the next section is changing the filing period for the municipal elections to bump it up 1 month. So for it to be in July instead of June, instead of in August, because as this one ends next month on August 15th, I'm only going to have like 3 weeks to prepare for a primary, which is going to be really tough with ordering ballots. And then the last one is section 3.5 to change the start time of our city council meetings. That suggestion came from Councilor Cheney to move it from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We reviewed all of these with our city attorney. They didn't really have too many changes, made a couple of tweaks. And then I've also sent all of these changes off to the Department of Revenue, the Attorney General's office, and the New Hampshire Secretary of State's office for their review. They have received the letters with all the changes, and they will send me, if they have anything, they'll send a response within 45 days. So that'll be about mid to late August when that deadline will pass. If we don't hear anything from them, we can go ahead and move forward with putting these questions on the November ballot. If they do have any changes, then they will come back to you guys to have you review them, and then we'll hold another public hearing to review any changes that need to be made.
Okay. All right. Katie, I have a question. The meeting, the supervisors meeting, was that just to make changes to the checklist?
Yep, it's to approve any pending voters and make any changes.
So people can appear and ask for changes. Are people aware that they can do that in your office prior to at any time, at any day?
I hope so. I have it on our city website on the elections page that talks about when the sessions are and gives them all the information about how to register to vote, and saying that they can come to our office as well. But we do hold the sessions after hours, so if anybody was working and couldn't come in, then they'd have an opportunity to.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes.
What is the cause for changing how we do the primary or getting rid of the primary? What is the main reason?
So I estimate that the cost for running an election, a primary, is about $5,000. We now that's to order the ballots, program the machines, We now have to program our accessible voting tablets too, which is a new added expense. And then the materials and paying the election workers and feeding the election workers be about $5,000.
And by just changing the date, would that help in keeping a primary and just changing the date that we have to file?
Yes.
Would that be a significant improvement?
Well, it would help with preparation times, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Anything? Okay. We have, this is, 3 motions, 3 proposed motions. First is I move to waive a reading of resolution 2025-25 in its entirety, read by title only. Councilor Cheney, seconded by Councilor Felch. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. Second motion is I move the second reading of resolution 2025-25 relative to the proposed amendments to Laconia City Charter to amend section 2:2, 2:3, 2:6, 3:05. Councilor Susie? Councilor Cheney seconds. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. And third, I move to approve resolution 2025-25 relative to the proposed amendment to Laconia City Charter to amend sections 2:02, 2:03, 2:06, 3:05 as presented. Councilor Felch? I'm sorry, Councilor Hoffman. I don't know why I do that. I need a second. Our resemblance is so.
Right.
so-
Councilor Felch, you got the second, seeing,
No, I'm not.
you're not?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You need a second?
Yeah.
I'll make a second.
Okay, Councilor Susie, is there any discussion?
Yes.
Councilor Felch, sorry.
So, my first thought on all these, they should be separate items for us to vote on and not all in a bunch, because I have no problem with the first 2. I do have a problem with removing a primary. If you have 3 candidates and 2 are similar and 1 is different, the 2 similar are gonna split the votes. I know we're a nonpartisan election, but say 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. The Democrats are gonna split the vote and the Republican's gonna get in.
That's good.
Councilor Felch, it is supposed to be nonpartisan.
I said that.
That's right.
Okay,
And that's why I used the phrase 2 like
Okay,
candidates
okay.
and 1 different.
Councilor
But
Felch.
If I may, I have to.
I'm sorry, Councilor Felch, you,
I am not done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm done with that one item, but
all right,
as far as changing the date for filing period, yes, if we continue to have a primary, we don't need to if we don't have a primary, because then the election wouldn't be till November. And as far as section 305, I disagree with changing the meeting start time. Some people don't get out of work until 5 or 6 o'clock, and it's dinner time.
okay. Are you asking this to be an amendment, or how would you like to proceed?
Well, if anybody agrees with me, I'd probably would say I'd table it, but don't want to do that yet. I want other
Okay.
people to
Councilor
have a
Rowland?
chance to.
I have to agree with Councilor Felch. I agree with the first 2. I think those are appropriate. With that, I think they should have been separated out because they're not all the same. We should be able to vote on them individually. I don't believe that we should be getting rid of primaries. I have the same feeling that you do. When you have similar candidates, then you get a split vote, and the odd person out gets a majority of the vote. So I have to agree with you there. I would much rather see the date change to move it back if that's what it takes to get the appropriate time for they can get the paperwork done. But getting rid of a primary, I'm never going to be voting for getting a primary. So if an amendment is to split these out, that's one amendment. Or if you wish to table it, I'd support you tabling it.
Counselor Hoffman.
Yes,
See, I got it right this time.
although I technically made the motion, I also agree with Councilor Felch, and I'd prefer to see these split out into separate items, and I would agree with tabling it as well.
You okay with one more meeting?
So I will make the,
One more
do you
meeting.
have more to say?
Counselor Boga?
Make a
I know,
motion
it's
to
on-
table.
Okay, it's non-debatable.
Yep, and I'll second.
All right. You got that, Katie? Okay. All those in favor of tabling? All those opposed? Okay. Item 22H is tabled.
And that was 5 to 1, right?
Yes. All right, item 22I is adopted resolution 2025-21 relative to making itemized appropriations for city's funds for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and terminating on June 30th, 2026. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, would it be easier if I gave you the review of this and
If you want to give us the overview and 30,000 foot.
Yeah, so,
Right.
all right, so, on April 28th, I provided you with the budget presentation. Since then, we've had conversations, we've had changes we've had to make internally. You guys have had conversations and wanted to make changes, so we now have presented to you, an amended, expenditure plan for FY '26. It still stays within the tax cap and does not change the amount of money to be raised by taxes from what was originally presented to you in April. Couple of key items, though, that have changed. You'll note that one of the things you'll be voting on is amend the general fund by $260,000 increase, as well as a $260,000 revenue change, which came from our share of a sale of the Concord Co-op property for our waste removal, as well as moving money into the revenue account from opioid settlement that we received, and I'll explain where that money is going to momentarily. If you go to page 62 in your packet is the addendum 1 that's referenced on that first page. Really, let me just hit the highlights of what is changed on here, and it's really the first handful of lines. These are probably the only things we've had discussions on since the beginning of this. We did fund a project manager position for the second half of the year next year. We did not fund the crime analyst position, but as we know, if we have ability to fund new positions next year, this is going to be a priority for Chief Canfield and the PD. We did not fund directly the fire department chaplain. However, what we did do with that $50,000 that we were able to put in there, I've worked with both police and fire chiefs, both the chiefs of police and fire. We're gonna put money into my account through this. We want them to create, and they'll do the legwork, but certainly working with professionals to build a first responder mental health program. Our goal on that is to
I have no idea.
It's a Volkswagen Golf.
Really?
Okay.
What?
Say what?
A Volkswagen Golf. All right. It might need some work. I'm not a mechanic, but I'm not a mechanic though. So anyhow, so the goals, we have $50,000 identified. We want them to start to create a mental health for first responder program. What that looks like and who's involved in that as far as the professionals that are going to be working with it, we're going to let them start that program and figure that out. Our goal, when I talked to the chiefs, the first thing they said was, this is great, we need this. But we also ought to look at how do we have for mental health for the rest of the city employees as well. We certainly have programs in place, but to really have a robust citywide program would be wonderful. So that's what's funded in here. So my goal is in the next probably 12 to 18 months to have their program expand to other city employees. So again, what it looks like, we're not sure. I think we've, in the firefighters contract that we just signed, there is a request in there. It's just a very small clause that says they want to work with the city on creating some type of mental health program. And we're able to find some funding for that to start with right away. Fire chief is here if you have any questions on it. But I think this is the correct direction to go. Does the program include a chaplaincy program? Is it just mental health? I'm not sure, but instead of putting all of our eggs into one basket to start with, it gives a little more of a broader approach to this. Otherwise, those are really the major changes in here. There's some grant changes. We added a Pumpkin Fest account, which would be money in, money out, so nothing there. We had to amend some internal service fund. We adjusted the Lakeport TIF fund. We had planned on spending out money towards that bond. We've already got money in there for next year's bond, so we were able to make an adjustment this year, and we'll move forward on that. And then the last set of motions I know there's a lot of motions in this. The last set of motions is actually approving the entire expenditure plan for FY26.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. All right, we have 3 motions on,
It's 8.
item 22I. We have 3 motions. I move to waive a reading of resolution 2025-21 in its entirety and read by title only. Councilor Cheney?
Where are we?
You
Hang
skipped
on.
a few.
Huh?
I think you skipped a few.
Page 60.
Oh.
We got about 8 motions to make total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, page 60, the amend general fund is the first section, and then we'll move through the list of them.
Okay, I had asked a question
Oh, did you?
and was told that we could just,
We hadn't had the conversation, so I don't know if that came up in your.
do we need to,
I thought we're just doing the 3 at the end.
I don't see 8 motions. Where are they?
Yeah, right.
Because as I'm,
It starts.
As I said earlier in the conversation today, my audience for this is DRA.
It starts right there.
So, as part of the review, as we go to the state level,
oh,
I need to be able to point out
Oh,
to
they didn't
DRA
point
that the
them out
amendments have
as-
been
Yes.
approved. I think
Oh,
maybe an
okay,
easy
I
way to
moved
do
them
that.
in.
Councilors,
sorry.
Councilor
I'd rather vote on all of them.
Glenn Smith is trying to explain.
I think maybe an easy way to do that is to make it simpler, is perhaps a motion to amend the general fund line as proposed, then a motion to approve the anticipated grants line as proposed. So there's a reference to those particular motions, but you don't have to read the whole thing.
Okay.
And then
I'll save you some
I'll
time.
just wave this in front of DRA and they'll know what we're talking about.
Okay, as far as the general fund, to amend the general fund, okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in,
You don't have,
The
First
motion,
and a
I think,
second.
has to be made. I move to amend the proposed fiscal year 2026 general fund budget
Okay,
as follows.
but do we need to back up?
I would just say that as proposed, and then vote on it.
Okay,
And then you can do that with the same thing under the next bullet point, and then just, under
okay,
the
the
next.
next bullet point is amend anticipated grants?
Yep.
Okay,
But I want to do the first one, that's the one I just did.
Right,
Okay.
so he made the motion, I'll second it.
okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. Okay. Under amend anticipated grants. Is there any,
I move to amend the proposed fiscal year 2026 anticipated grant budget as presented.
okay. Is there a second? Council Boga. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
6 votes in the affirmative. As far as Pumpkin Fest, the
Yep.
proposal,
I'll make that motion.
okay?
Do I need to read the motion?
Somebody should.
We should probably for the record, right?
Yep.
I move to amend the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget proposal to include $95,467 in revenues and expenditures in support of Laconia Pumpkin Fest. Such action to have no impact on the amount to be raised by taxes.
Second.
I didn't hear that. Is second? Counselor Felch, second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. To amend the internal service fund. The proposal is, I move to amend the proposed fiscal year 2026 internal service fund budget as follows. Decreased appropriation and non-tax revenue of $110,975 from $1,911,880 to $1,800,105. Is there Councilor Susie? Is there a second? Councilor Felch? Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. To amend the Lakeport TIF district funds, I move to amend the proposed fiscal year 2026 Lakeport TIF budget as follows. I'm not going to read it.
As presented.
As presented.
And I'll make that motion.
Councilor Felch?
I'll second.
Seconded, Councilor Bogart. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
And this one you do have your 3 motions for.
It's this one we do have the
Yep.
3 motions, okay. All right. I move to waive the reading of Resolution 2025-21 in its entirety and read by title only.
So moved.
Councilor Felch, Councilor Bogart, second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. I move the second read of Resolution 2025-21 relative to making an itemized appropriation for city funds for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and terminating on June 30th, 2026. Is Councilor Hoffman. Seconded by Councilor Bogart. I got it right this time? Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 6 votes in the affirmative. And finally, I move to approve Resolution 2025-21 as amended relative to making itemized appropriations for city's funds for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and terminating June 30th, 2026. Councilor Susie? Councilor Felch seconds. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 6 votes in affirmative.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just make a quick comment, I just wanted to thank you guys, first of all, but I also want to thank Glenn in the finance department, the school department, she's still here, and all the department heads. Just appreciate, there's been a lot of moving parts with this, as there always are, and they did a great job in getting us to this point, so I just wanted to say thank you.
On the other hand, I think the council would like to thank you and Glenn Smith. This is not an easy project at all, by any means. And the give and take from the councilors was well presented, and also that trying to keep it at the tax cap with all the wants that people have, and some of them are very valid needs, is very difficult. So I'd like to thank both of you on behalf of the council. All right. Is there any other business to come before the council? Okay, seeing none, we are now going to non-public meeting. Do I have a motion to go into non-public? Councilor Hoffman.
Counselor Cheney seconds. Okay, we are now,
We're gonna vote,
okay, we didn't vote.
roll call vote.
Sorry. All those in favor of going
It's a roll
What
call
was the
vote.
letter?
L.
L?
It's not on your list, it's from the 91A.
All those in favor of going into
You got a
non,
roll call.
Yep, roll call.
Counselor Cheney?
Yes.
Counselor Susie?
Yes.
Counselor Hoffman?
Yes.
Counselor Haynes?
yes.
Counselor Bogart?
Yes.
Counselor Felch?
Yes.
Katie, I will wait till you say that we're,
So now we're in non-public starting at 8:25?
we off.
Nope, not yet.
Okay.